Hello and welcome to SULKNATIONtv. In this episode, I'm going to discuss what am I going to replace my R53 MINI COOPER S with when it sells. So, first things first, the Mini is up for about £3,000. That's what I've priced it at. I've spent over 6 on it, put over 6 into it. Do I expect to get that back? No, not in a million years. Do I hope to get about 50% of that back? Yes. So fingers crossed. Let's hope so. So my budget essentially is £3,000. So what can I buy that gives me the more all-round nature that I'm looking for? And I'm not looking for a daily. I've got a daily. I'm looking for something that's fun, but also is a viable contender to be able to get me quite far to shows, to go and do roads up north, you know, outside of the UK maybe, you know, when coronavirus is over.
Wear a face mask, wash your hands, be a good boy or girl.
Things that I don't feel that my R53 can give me, which, you know, I've mentioned enough times before. Driving this car on B roads, the best thing ever. Driving this car not on B roads, not for me. So I need something more all round. So I'm gonna have a budget of £3,000 to spend on it. So do I stick to Mini? Because, you know, I've heard that the R56 has more comfortable seats. That's a win. But it's got a Peugeot engine. That's not a win. You know, I'd rather keep an R53 than have any other Mini. If I was going to even contemplate an R56, why would I sell my R53? I'd just swap the seats out. So no, I'm not sticking to Mini. Do I stick to BMW? Because obviously BMW own Mini. That was definitely what I was going to do. But my 2 ideas that I had with 2 different cars were poo-pooed by certain people. So those ideas are not going to happen. So, you know, do I stick to BMW? I'm not ruling it out completely, but at the same time, with the budget I've got, I mean, I don't like, in my price range, the 1 Series. So, you know, I'm not into the coupe one. I'm not feeling the hatchback. I don't think it's a good looking car. So it's unlikely. But do I stick to German generally? I mean, you know, Volkswagen Audi group. So we're talking Skoda, Seat, Volkswagen and Audi. I love my Golf, my 63 plate Mark 7 Golf TDI is my daily. It's been the most reliable car I've ever owned, and that is a good thing. So Volkswagen reliability, yeah, that's a tick. But what could I get for £3,000? Well, if we stick to Volkswagen, that's a Mark 5 Golf GTI. Now, Volkswizard, or Andrew from Volkswizard, and I do like his channel a lot, he really rates the Mark 5 Golf GTI. But I'm working on a £3,000 budget, so I'd have to look at a high mileage one. I'd want 3-door rather than 5-door, because it's sportier. I'm probably just going to get a dog, aren't I, really, for £3,000. A Golf GTI with like 150,000 miles on the clock is going to have been, yeah, driven pretty hardcore, unless I'm lucky. So I'm not going to rule that out. It's not a particularly interesting car, but it is a very capable car. Do I go down the saloon route and go, right, okay, well, I had an idea for a series of videos based around the Audi A4, the B7 Audi A4. I was going to refer to those videos as RS Poor, because I can't afford an RS4. There's a special edition A4 from like 2006, 2007 that has got very good stats, like the statistics, like brake horsepower figures and torque figures and the look of the car and the interiors. It's tempting, and they're in my budget, you know, for something with just over 100,000 miles on the clock. It's in my budget, but I mean, it's a saloon. Yeah, it's got dual exhaust coming out the back and it looks really cool, but do I want to go that direction? It's definitely going to offer me more practicality, but it's going to be a big old bus trying to get down country lanes in the way that I like to drive them. So do I just stick to hatchbacks? Yeah, I'm probably just going to stick to hatchbacks. What about a Mark 1 Seat Leon Cupra R? Now, again, it would be, we're looking at 130,000 miles in the budget that I've got, but you get one from, I think it's 2004 to 2006. That's got the BAM engine, which is 225 brake horsepower, which is meant to be a very good engine. They're quite good looking cars. They're definitely better looking than the generation after. and they're very capable. I mean, they've got Brembo calipers and discs and pads from factory. So, you know, they're a sporty hatchback. They look good. I think the profile shot's great. They look great from the front. The jury's still out for me on the rear, but I could get over that. And the interior is pretty nice. It's a little bit, you look in the interior of an Audi or a Volkswagen from the same period, like a Golf or a, you know, an A3, and then you look at the interior of, well, essentially the dash of a Mark 1 Seat Leon Cooper R, and it does leave a lot to be desired, but good car. The engine's good. They're meant to handle really well. Not driven one, so that could be the next car. Do I go down the Japanese route? Now, I've never owned a Japanese car. It gets my taste buds tingling. I've driven a couple of Japanese cars and thoroughly enjoyed myself. And you know, you're talking about reliable engines. All right, bit plasticky in the interior, but I've got an R53 Mini, so. You know, I mean, I'm used to some of the plastics being a little bit cheaper than you'd find in other cars from the same period. So that doesn't really put me off. I'm definitely toying with the idea of the next car being Japanese. There are some cars that I've looked at that would be curveballs. You know, they're unnoticed. I don't see a YouTuber driving them, and it's not because they're not good cars. It's because there are not many of them, and not many people really know about them. So, for instance, the performance model, the T-Sport Toyota Corolla, the 3-door versions of those look banging. They look really good. But do they look good enough? Do they look different enough from a Toyota Corolla? Probably not. So, and I've seen some in my price range, and I'm like, it's different though, isn't it? And they've got good engines and they'll be reliable. And then I'm like, but it's a Corolla. So no. But then, oh, who knows? But no, you know, I mean, it's there. It's an option. Obviously Honda. Obviously Civic Type Rs. I've driven an FN2 and I thought it was amazing. I know a lot of people that have owned the older Civics, like the VTIs, those sort of late 90s performance ones. In fact, one of my little brothers did, and it was such an epic car. The EP3 is there, you know, same sort of age as the Mini. I don't think the interior is as nice. I don't understand the gear stick being in like the middle of the dash, but right, I understand it. Obviously it's, you know, a nicer place to change gear, but aesthetically not a big fan. But you know, those cars are very capable. Yeah, I'd miss torque because they don't have torque, and they are naturally aspirated VTEC engines. But having driven an FN2, when that VTEC kicks in, it's something that's a bit different and on a par with, you know, when you're revving an R53 high, you know, it's the same sort of smile on your face. So that's definitely an option. Subarus. Yeah, I can't afford a WRX STI, of course I can't. But, you know, you can get some decent Imprezas, or Imprezas, as they should be called, because that's what they're called. That's Impreza, not Impreza. But Impreza, but who cares? You can get a WRX and you can do a lot with them, and they already have a lot of high specification performance out of factory. So, you know, they put a smile on my face as well. But to get a good one that's not a dog, that's difficult. So I think I'm constrained massively by my £3,000 budget. There'll be a lot of you out there watching now going, well, you're not going to get better than your R53. And from a, you know, on few levels, you're probably very right, but I've made my mind up. It's time to move the car on, and what I've listed there is just some of the examples of what I've been looking at. Now, yeah, I like the idea of the RS Poor version of videos, but how many of you are going to enjoy that? Probably not that many. And how long am I going to enjoy my fun car being a saloon? Fords, Vauxhall. Definitely not a Vauxhall. I'm not going for a Vauxhall. Weirdly, I don't know if any of you have noticed this out there in internet world, but when you're driving behind like a 2007 plate Vauxhall Corsa in wet conditions, is it just me, or do they spray up more water than any other car that you drive behind? I'll leave you with that one to have a little think about, because I find that they do. Why do they spray up so much water? answer me, because I've seen them with, you know, the mud flaps on and they're still spraying up more water than any other car other than articulated lorries. And on that note, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you want to see more, then check out my YouTube channel, turn on notifications, and of course subscribe. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram, and until the next video, I've been me, you've been you, and well done for that.